You ever get punished for something small and then realize it was never about the rule? It was about power. That's exactly what happened to me. It started with a door. Just a navy blue door. I painted it on a Sunday, sun shining, music playing, my little way of making my new house feel like mine. I didn't know that color would start a war. 3 weeks later, I get a letter. White envelope. No return address. Inside. Notice of violation, unauthorized exterior change. Fine, $500. I read it twice. Was this a joke? I had just moved into the neighborhood 2 months ago. Nobody told me I needed permission to paint a door. Was I supposed to get a blessing from the paint gods? I laughed it off. At first. But then. I walked outside. The neighbor across the street? Deep burgundy door. Another? Forest green shutters. One house had a full mural of sunflowers on their garage. I wasn't the only one with unauthorized color. So why me? I called the number on the letter. A robotic voice said, Homeowner Association Compliance Office. This call may be recorded. When a woman picked up, I asked politely why I'd been fined. She cut me off mid-sentence. Any exterior modifications require HOA approval. You did not submit a request. I explained that I didn't know. That no one had mentioned it during closing. She replied coldly. It's your responsibility to read the HOA manual. I asked for a copy. She emailed it. 28 pages. Most of it felt like it was typed in the 90s. Approved door colors? Neutral tones. What does that even mean? That night, I walked the entire block. And I took pictures. Coral pink mailbox. Black steel garage doors. A literal mosaic bench in 1 yard. Clearly, this wasn't about color. It was about me. I showed up to the next HOA meeting. First time. A small community hall. Plastic chairs. And at the head table, the president. Susan. Late 50s. Hair like it hadn't moved since 2003. Eyes that scanned like a hawk. I stood up to speak. Hi, I'm Josh. New homeowner at 219 Maple. Susan didn't let me finish. This is about the violation, isn't it? I nodded. I'd like to appeal the $500 fine. I wasn't aware the door color needed approval, and I've noticed many other homes. She raised a hand like I was a school kid. Those other homes were approved years ago. You're not grandfathered in. I pulled out photos. Names. Addresses. Timeline. She didn't even look. Mr. Josh, this meeting is for community updates. You may submit an appeal in writing, but the fine stands. My jaw clenched. People stared but no one spoke. It was clear she was the queen, and I challenged her throne. I went home. Furious. But I didn't yell. Didn't rant on Facebook. Didn't even paint the door back. I started researching. HOA laws in my state. Bylaws in our neighborhood. Public records on Susan. Complaints filed. Old neighbors on Facebook groups. And I found something. Not big yet. But enough to know. This war had just begun. I didn't want revenge, at first. But Susan made it personal. That $500 fine wasn't about paint. It was about power and control. And if she thought I'd just sit quietly, she underestimated the wrong guy. Magnifying glass tilted left. Step 1, learn the enemy. I dove into research like it was a full-time job. My HOA was registered as a non-profit with the state. Their financials were public. And guess what? They hadn't filed proper tax paperwork in 3 years. I made copies. Screenshots. Saved everything. I also started attending meetings silently, no speaking, just watching. And I noticed a pattern. Susan approved contracts without a vote. Approved landscaping work that never happened. Collected violation fines but never reported where the money went. That's when it clicked. This wasn't just a picky HOA president. This was a petty dictator running a sloppy scam. Brain step 2, befriend the silent majority. I started talking to neighbors. Not everyone liked Susan. They were just scared of her. One guy, Rob, 3 houses down, told me she fined him $250 for a garden gnome. Another neighbor, Maria, got cited for overgrown grass. It was 2 inches tall. I asked if they'd ever challenged her. They laughed. What's the point? That's when I had an idea. What if we worked together? They looked unsure. Until I showed them what I found. Late tax reports. Missing landscaping budgets. Photos of other homes with unapproved colors that never got fined. Their eyes widened. We formed a group chat that night. The resistance was born. Open file folder. Step 3, legal leverage. Next, I emailed Susan politely asking for full financial records of the HOA as per state law. She replied, "That information is private." Wrong answer, Susan. I cited the statute. HOA members are legally entitled to request financials. No response. So I mailed a formal written request, certified. Still no response. Then I filed a complaint with the state HOA regulatory board. 3 days later, boom. I get a call. "Hi, this is Jordan from the Department of Homeowners Associations. We received your complaint." I sent them everything. Tax gaps. Email responses. Photos. Meeting recordings. They thanked me. And told me quietly that this wasn't their first complaint about Susan's HOA. Crossword. Step 4, the power shift begins. Meanwhile, our neighbor group was growing. We made a private Facebook group. Anonymous submissions. Photos of violations that weren't punished. One day, someone dropped a bombshell. Susan's nephew owns the landscaping company she keeps approving. No wonder the jobs were overpriced or never done. We printed flyers with a QR code leading to our private group. Concerned about HOA corruption? You're not alone. By the end of that week, 41 homeowners had joined. Then came the letter. An official notice taped to my door. Cease and desist, stop distributing false information or face legal action. From Susan. It was laughable. No lawyer's name. No legal letterhead. Just empty threats. But I knew what that meant. She was scared. So I took it further. I filed a petition per HOA bylaws to hold a special election to remove the president. All I needed was 25% of homeowners' signatures. With our group, we had over 40%. We submitted the petition. Susan tried to invalidate signatures. Claimed the meeting hall was under repair. Sent another threat letter, this time claiming I was harassing her. But I wasn't playing dirty. I was playing by the rules. Her rules. And she couldn't stand it. The special HOA meeting was scheduled. It was held at the local library because Susan claimed the community hall had a plumbing issue. Right. Even with the location change, 67 homeowners showed up. More than double the usual attendance. Word had spread. I walked in with a folder under my arm. Financial records. Neighbor complaints. Legal violations. Screenshots. A copy of the law. And most importantly, the petition. Susan sat at the front pale, stiff, pretending everything was fine. She opened the meeting. "This meeting has been called to address baseless accusations by one member." I raised my hand. "Actually, it's over 40 members now." Gasps. A few chuckles. I stood up, calm but direct. "This isn't personal. This is about accountability. Our bylaws allow us to review leadership through a special vote, and that's what we're doing." I handed out printed summaries. Susan approved over $20,000 in landscaping work to her nephew's company without board approval. $7,000 in unaccounted fines never entered the HOA's treasury. 3 years of missed tax filings. And then I dropped the final piece. The state regulatory board has opened an investigation. Boom. Susan tried to speak. These documents are taken out of context. Someone in the crowd yelled, "Why didn't my garden get landscaped if you paid for it?" Another voice, "Why did you fine my son for parking his bike on the porch?" It turned into a storm. Susan lost control. Her voice cracked. She tried to adjourn the meeting early, but too late. We voted. 58 votes to remove her. Only 3 against. The rest? Abstained. Or too shocked to speak. Susan stood, muttered something about lawyers, and stormed out. The room? Silent for 3 seconds. Then someone clapped. Then another. And soon, the whole room erupted in applause. Trophy epilogue, aftermath. With Susan gone, the new interim board included Rob, Maria, and yes, even me. We reviewed the books, cleaned up the budget, cancelled her nephew's contracts, and filed taxes properly. The HOA even refunded some unfair fines, including my $500. But it wasn't about the money anymore. It was about making things right. One neighbor, Mrs. Ellis, 72 years old, told me. I've lived here 25 years. This is the first time the HOA actually feels like it's for the people. And me? I kept the navy blue door. Added a little brass knocker too. Just because I could.